Film deep dive number 2. Browns beat the Titans 41-35. Misleading final. They led 38-7 in that first half. And Cleveland is getting used to winning. I mean, they're 9-3, but this one was different.
Yeah.
I mean, number one, it locked up their first winning season in over a decade, so that's huge for that franchise. And for the here and now, number 2, this came against a division leader on the road. This feels different than the other 8 wins they had this season.
It should. I mean, it is. This was a defining moment for this Browns football team. Like, hey, we're not just happy to be in the playoff conversation or we're going to the playoffs, and we're just like, hey, we made it. We're going to the playoffs. Let's kick our feet back up and start drinking margaritas. No, I think it shows you there's a little edginess to this football team. They expect and want, and I like that. And last few weeks, this game especially, now it makes you think, whoa, okay, maybe the Browns aren't a one-and-done type playoff football team. With the way they run the ball and their front four they have on defense, they're going to be a pain in the butt in the playoffs. I don't care who they play against, but really impressive. Game was crazy. Got away from the Titans a little bit. But where do you want to start first, the Browns-O or the Titans-O?
Let's start Browns-O offense.
Yeah.
And for everybody who's watching along with us on YouTube, let's take a look at the Baker Mayfield stats. I think this is going to show his first half production. There we go, 20 out of 25. It's ridiculous. 290, 4 touchdowns, and 0 picks. So we'll get to their defense, but let's start right there with Baker. And I'm okay if you want to start out focusing on how well he played, or if you want to talk about Kevin Stefanski's game plan and game calling, I think that's fair too.
I think we could tie it together. I mean, first off, he threw the ball phenomenal. You saw it. I mean, he just never really lost control of football all game long. Should have had another touchdown pass in the first drive. Throws the ball to Donovan People-Jones, who makes up for it, with a great day, but got a little slant route, throws it right in his stomach. Should have been a touchdown. Should have been 7-0 Browns. So it came off going. This is where I'll give Kevin Stefanski a lot of credit. It's like he knew the Titans are going to overplay their run. They're going to go all out in the run. So here's 2 tight ends. Here's 3 tight ends.
Here's 3 tight ends.
Yeah. Come up, crush our run. And he did a great job early on of playing off that and playing pass. Hey, we got 3. Self-scouted thyself big time.
Yeah.
Got in 3 tight ends, said, no, we're not going to get in your traditional run set. We're going to get in shotgun. Spread the field out with 3 tight ends because you're the Titans and you can't rush the passer and you can't cover anybody good. Yeah. And now we got your big slow guys in the game too. So it's even worse for you. So that was brilliant from that standpoint. To me, that's where the Titans went wrong. The Titans overplayed the run game, I thought, early on. Like, hey, it's okay at like the first drive. But after that, I mean, they were still playing the run game after they got gashed by the pass game a few times around and be like, okay, they're going to pass it here. We've seen it already. Back the hell off. Don't be such meathead. We're going to stop the run. That, to me, is kind of where they went wrong. But I thought the approach by Stefanski and just that little psychological advantage there and the way he attacked yesterday. Yeah. From the get-go, with those personnel sets, coming out throwing more than running, the reverse quarterback throw play. Those are plays that for a team who's not sure if they belong with the big boys, when you come out and attack and then have a little success and, man, our coach is calling a reverse, it makes you think as a player like, man, we got it today. Coach likes us. He thinks we can win and put this team away. And I think they fed off of that as well.
Baker Mayfield, as Cleveland kind of started this winning streak, he was all of a sudden just taking care of the ball and avoiding mistakes. And the defense run game, very, very good. But now yesterday, he amped it up a notch, took advantage of the formations and the play calls and all that, but he was aggressive and he was accurate instead of careless and inconsistent. Which one do you think, now that everybody's watching Cleveland, people are taking it more seriously now, which Baker do you believe is going to be out there more now?
I think you're going to continue to see this good Baker. I think he's got a feel for the offense. He's comfortable. He understands the proper way to play with his team. Again, let's think about Baker Mayfield. He came from Oklahoma, and let me throw it around, and I'm a rookie, and Hugh Jackson wants to throw it around, and we're going to fire Hugh, and now it's going to be Freddie Kitchens, and I'm going to still throw it around. This is awesome. He's never had to be reined in his life. So he took some time to adjust to being, okay, I got to manage a game and, run checks, and, man, I got to throw it away sometimes, and we're just going to play smart that way. I think ever since the Steelers game, he's been a different quarterback.
He's been good, and even though I asked the question,
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely has a resume of being inconsistent.
Yes.
But it's been 5 games without a pick. It
No.
wasn't just yesterday.
Right.
5 games in a row now.
Yeah, that's not a fluke or anything like that. And 5 games, no pick, with some horrible weather games too that weren't fun to be throwing the ball and weren't going to lead to great stats, but still played the game the right way. And then here the last few weeks, we've seen a lot of big plays in the pass game because they presented itself and he felt like he could be aggressive and do those type of things. But, his connection with Jarvis Landry, they're always on the same page. Higgins, that's his next go-to guy, in my opinion. He's confident, and he's confident in what he's seeing, and he's letting it loose. And I think that's early in the year where we saw a lot of hey, throw it, and he wasn't sure what he was looking at. He didn't know how he wanted to play, but he certainly found his groove now.
2 things that really jumped out to me, and this is both credit to Baker and also to Kevin Stefanski. He rolls out to his left by play design. Like Kevin trusts him to throw it accurately, running fast to his left.
Yeah.
They did it multiple times. They had success with it multiple times.
Got to do it.
You don't see a lot of teams trusting their quarterback to do it more than just every now and then.
Every now and then.
And so that was fun to watch. And that deep in route, which is kind of old school, but just dropping back, throwing a 20-yard in, they relied on that too. And it's good to see that around as teams figure out all these other new ways to push the ball downfield.
Yeah.
Just that old school route.
Yeah, old school, in cuts, things like that. And to your boot point, I think it's a really good point because most coordinators are reluctant to have their right-handed quarterback boot to the left. They only do it in very rare, it's a big 3rd and 1, and maybe I'll catch him off guard here or do something like that. I saw Russell Wilson actually do that against the Giants on a 4th and 1, and they tried to go to the left. The Giants were ready for it. But if you're a team like Cleveland, you got to be able to call the bootlegs both ways because the running game is too important. So if you want to run to the right constantly and not have backside always closing down, you got to keep him honest with that bootleg left. I would bet you bootlegs to the left, he is one of the league leaders right there next to Kirk Cousins, of course, because they do the same offense and Stefanski came there. But I would think they're right up there, and that's probably the beauty of they do it. But you're right too. They're old school. They're a lot like Tennessee or like Minnesota we just talked about. When they drop back to pass, they're not looking for 4 yards. They're looking for 15 and 20. And I think that goes really hand in hand with their run game. And this I just want to say this too. You go up 3-0, all right. They go up 10-0. They get the fumble from Derrick Henry, right? You got to score touchdowns, right, if you want to win big games. There they are, 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. It's like, oh, man, are they going to get in? What a great play that is. Fake up the middle to Chubb. Fake the swing pass to Kareem Hunt. Oh, here, no-name O-lineman. Oh, yeah, he's not covered? Yeah, shocker. Of course he's not. They used their 2 best decoys. That was amazing. Now, another great spot. It's 17-7. It's the 4th drive of the game. You're thinking, the Titans, okay, they scored. It was 17-0. This game will settle down. I love that Stefanski came out and said, let's go for the jugular again. Because they're going to think we're going to try to settle in and run the ball again and settle the game down. And he goes fake 97 power, naked right X stutter, which is an old school Mike Shanahan, Gary Kubiak little boot pass. And the Titans, again, are so foaming at the mouth of stop the run, stop the run, stop the run.
First down with 3 tight ends, and I think.
It was. Right. And there was only 2 guys on the route, and they were both wide open. They didn't cover either. Yeah, it was one receiver. He ran a little stutter go, and they had one of the tight ends running on a crossing route, and neither one of them were covered because the Titans were so focused on the run game. And that to me, was one of the Titans' issues, as I mentioned. But I think those type of play calls, those give your team, big advantages, and just, way to go, Kevin Stefanski.
I love the combination when you look at that touchdown that put them up 24-7, and the next one, touchdown pass to put them up 31-7.
Right.
The one you just described that was formation and play call, way to go, Kevin Stefanski. The next touchdown on that perfect fade pass to Higgins
the right
to his
sideline. Right.
That was Baker's recognition and his accuracy. And it's only a 2-play little bundle there, but one is head coach, man, awesome. The next is, hey, quarterback.
Hey, quarterback.
That's how you do it.
It is. Baker, you're right. The recognition of, it's a zone coverage, but they're kind of playing him like one-on-one on the outside. And, he's got a corner that obviously they felt was a little aggressive and tried to play some of these short routes, and he ran just a little stutter again.
Just enough,
but the ball was on the money. And, not that ended the game, but that certainly put the game in a spot where you went, wow, I don't know if Tennessee 31-7, I don't know if they can come back from that.
And defensively for Cleveland, got to hit on them with what they did to Derrick Henry. And it seems like every week we're thinking of new ways to talk about Derrick Henry and how he's closing games out and piling up 100-yard games, not even close to 100 yards yesterday.
No. They never got in a rhythm of the football game, and nor do they ever really get to the point because, you get stopped on a 4th and 1 on the first drive, and they go down and score. So now you're getting the ball for the second time, and you're already down 10-0. And then on that, now your second drive, your first play, Derrick Henry fumbles. So now it's 17-0. They never really got to just get in a groove and say, okay, we can run it, we can pound it, let's start to do those type of things. No, and partly of that is because of Cleveland. Cleveland did a cool thing in the football game. I hadn't seen them do this. I think they did in the Raiders game, maybe in the only other game all year. But they went into some defensive sets, base sets, where they got really big. And when I mean really big, I mean Olivier Vernon became a stand-up linebacker who's a 270-pound, awesome pass-rushing defensive end. So what they did, Paul, is they went Myles Garrett at defensive end, and then they had Sheldon Richardson as the other defensive end, who's a 305-pound man. And then inside, they had the Jordan Elliott, a third-round pick out of Missouri, who I really liked, and then Ogunjobi. So they got a lot of these plays with Derrick Henry, especially in first and second down and base personnel. They had basically, 4 big defensive linemen with Olivier Vernon, who's another defensive lineman, acting as a stand-up linebacker. That gave them a great advantage early on to just not be overpowered. I thought that was a cool aspect of their game plan.
It's cool, too, that you bring up creativity on defensive fronts. We always think of creativity with blitzes or everything you do on offense. You talked about it a little bit ago with the Giants and what they did with their front.
Right.
And it's just a reminder that there are a lot of ways, important ways,
maximize
to be creative
your personnel
with your big guys.
Yeah, right. Maximize them. Olivier Vernon's kind of one of those hybrid D-end outside linebackers. How do you stop this big team? Okay, let's make him a linebacker this week, and we'll make our defensive tackle a defensive end. Yeah, there's more than one way to skin the cat, as they say, and I give Joe Wood a lot of credit for that. Again, I don't know if this game would ever play out this way, if they played 10 times, right? I don't expect the Tennessee Titans to make some of the mistakes they make and those type of things. But either way, I don't care if they play 10 times. I know I can come away and think, this game's going to be close no matter what, every one of them. I don't know who gets the best of which. I would love to watch it in the playoffs again. It'd be a fun game.
I think the big but here for Cleveland is that in the other 2 games, and I went back through their schedule, you can really call measuring stick games. Earlier against Baltimore and Pittsburgh, they got outscored 76-13.
Right.
So this isn't just a garden variety win for Cleveland, no matter how anybody looks at it. The other way I want to close this one out.
Yeah.
Question.
Right.
Who's done a better job head coach in the AFC, Kevin Stefanski, Brian Flores?
Man, they're both way, way up there.
These are 2 teams that are both winning at much more consistent rates in an impressive way than anybody thought.
Yeah, they're both amazing. I think where Stefanski, they had a lot of the talent in place. Flores, they kind of all brought it here the last year or two. It's been a total rebuild. So I don't want to take credit. I don't like the question.
Both awesome.
They're both awesome, but I would probably give the edge to Flores.
Yeah.
I'd probably give the edge to Flores, but I don't feel great about that.
Tunes in knows that you like both of them.
I do. Well, Cleveland fans still think I hate Stefanski.
Really?
Because I didn't love the hire. So they've taken that and run with it, even though I've said I could have been wrong and I picked them to go 10-6 before the season. Yeah. But they don't want to hear it. They don't care. Yeah. So whatever. It is what it is. But either way, great job by him. Joe Wood being smart on the defensive side of the ball. It was an outside-the-box thinking game plan. Yeah. And that gave them enough to beat the Tennessee Titans. All right. You want me to go back to a moment in time before I ask that question? No, that's good. That's good. I like the tough questions. That was perfect.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.